Once upon a time, there lived a merchant. His name was Sinbad. Sinbad sailed all over the world and sold his goods. On each voyage, he had a wonderful and thrilling adventure. Students, voyage means journey. Children, there was a merchant named Sinbad. He used to sail his ship all over the world to sell his goods so that he can make good profit. And all of his journeys were full of excitements. On one such voyage, Sinbad went to China by ship with dates from Arabia. On his way back home, he was caught in a storm and his ship was swallowed by the waves. Swallowed by the waves means sank in the water. Children, one day when he was coming back to his home from China with dates from Arabia, he got stuck in a storm and his ship sank in the sea because the storm was so strong that it destroyed the entire ship. Luckily, Sinbad saw a piece of wood from the wrecked ship floating close to him. Wrecked means badly damaged. He held on to the wood and fainted. Students, that storm destroyed the ship, but somehow he saved himself by climbing on a wood that came out of that damaged ship. And after this accident, he had no idea of where he was and he fainted. Behosh ho gaya. When he woke up, Sinbad was in a strange land. Strange land means unknown land. He found himself on a high cliff. All around him, there were huge white colored rocks, smooth and shiny. Children, when he woke up, he found himself landed in an unknown island. When he looked around, there was no one, but he saw the big white stones which were very smooth and shiny. Sinbad was curious and went closer to the stones. He found that they were eggs, perhaps laid by birds. When he inspected clearly, he saw that they were not stones, but the eggs of a big bird. Suddenly, a huge bird landed close to him. It looked like an eagle. Sinbad realized he was looking at a rock. Student, rock is a large imaginary bird. Sinbad was only as big as the claws of the giant bird. He was frightened and wondered how he would escape from the strange land. Frightened means scared. Suddenly, big bird coming close to him. He was as equal to the claws of that big bird. Now he was afraid of how he would get out of that island. Just then, some more rocks landed near the eggs. He saw some of them flying away, so he thought of an idea of escape. After some time, he saw many big birds coming towards the giant eggs, and after that, he figured out a way. He slowly crept up to a rock and tied himself to its toes with the help of a rope. Students, what he did? He tied himself to the bird with the help of a rope. Soon, the huge bird carried him away. After some time, it landed in a valley. Sinbad quickly untied the rope and freed himself from the rock. When he tied himself to the bird, that big rock flew with him and landed in a valley. Valley means ghati, where he freed himself from the bird. Because he was tied from the bird, so he freed himself from the bird. Sinbad saw diamonds and other precious stones lying on the ground. Precious means rare and expensive. As Sinbad was looking at the stones, a piece of meat fell beside him. Soon, a huge rock picked up the meat with its beak. He saw everywhere in the valley, and what he saw? He saw many diamonds and expensive stones lying on the ground. Then he saw a big piece of meat fell next to him, and that bird picked up the meat. Sinbad then remembered the story of the valley. People would throw pieces of meat into the valley. Precious stones would get stuck on the meat. The rocks would carry the meat to their nest, and the people would then frighten the rocks away from their nest by beating drums. When the birds flew away, the people would collect the diamonds from the nests. Children, when he saw the bird with the meat, he understood everything because he had heard many stories about this strange valley where people used to throw a piece of meat to get the diamonds and the stones. Because the bird used to bring that piece of meat into their nests from where people used to take it. Sinbad picked up as many diamonds as he could. Then he waited for another rock. As soon as it landed, he tied himself to its toes. Soon the bird flew to its nest and carried Sinbad with it. Children, after reaching there, what he did? Sinbad filled as many diamonds as he could in his pockets, and then he flew away with another big rock. He tied himself with another rock and he flew away with it. Upon reaching the nest, Sinbad quickly freed himself. He climbed down the tree and went into town. There, he told the people what had happened to him. When they heard the story of his adventure, they took him to their chief. And the chief rewarded Sinbad for his bravery. When he got out of that strange island, he went to his town back. He told everyone that what had happened to him. They all took him to their chief, where he rewarded him for his bravery, which he showed in that valley. So children, what we have learned from this story? That we should not panic in hard times, but we should use our intelligence.